Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy, and you are on the After the Bars Morning Mayhem Show. Casper and I come here every day, and we talk about all things that are happening in true crime, and occasionally whatever else comes up. It's kind of a let your hair down sort of program. How are you this morning, brother?
Man, I am barely awake. So I woke up. So today's my wife's day off. So I was up late working, and so usually I'm up at 5:30, right? And I start getting things ready. I wake up. I take Hazley to school. But on Mariana's day off, once in a blue moon, she'll take Hazley to school for me. And she let me sleep until almost 8 o'clock, 7:40. And you're probably the same way as I am. Just imagine your day if you woke up at 7 o'clock. You'd be like, what the,
Straight panic.
Straight panic. That was me. And I couldn't stand up straight because, my back. And so I'm trying to get to the office and I'm like in pain. So I take all my meds and then I realize I have to text you about some stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God.
No,
and then,
great way to start the day.
Yeah, it sucks. And it's basically going to probably screw up my day if I let it for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So it's one of those
things,
things.
Man. Yeah, you just got to shake those off.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is the takeaway from a bad life, bro. You're going to get over whatever the hell. I mean, think of the days we've had. Right?
Yeah.
No one's putting any cuffs on you today, brother. You're not, you're not on, you're not on a captain's hold.
Dude. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And here's the deal. So I had just opened this shop called 406 Inc. Right. And my grand opening was it was the end of July, and I spent like $3,000 on this sign to go, above the shop.
Yeah.
And the guy installed it like the day before grand opening, installed it on the wrong space. He installed it over
someone else's business.
Yeah. So I lose my shit, right? I'm opening tomorrow. I have the health department inspections. I got to get all my artists licensed, and I'm freaking out. So he comes and moves it. And of course, when I go to flip the switch, right, it doesn't come on. Dude, I lose it, right? So I call my sponsor. Well, actually, I think he called me to ask how the grand opening was going, because he hadn't heard from me in 2 days.
And you ripped off a string of F's like no one has heard in a really long time.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, do you need me to come there, right? He's freaking out. He thinks I'm going to go get an 8-ball and, just burn it all to the ground. I don't give a F about this shop, these dudes, these people. I'm freaking out over this sign.
Yeah.
And so he came and pulled me away from the situation. We prayed. I practiced some gratitude, and I felt a little better. The sign ended up working the next day. Whatever. It didn't even matter. Dude, it didn't even matter if I had a sign. It didn't even matter if I had a shop.
It did that day.
It did that day. But he said, he's like, man, we're going to have coffee next week. And you tell me about how stressed out are you about this sign. We went and had coffee the next week. And I think I was stressed out about one of my new chick artists that was, sucked or something. It was something completely different,
Yeah, new stresses.
That sign meant nothing, even if it never even would have got installed and the guy would have burnt me for my money. In the grand scheme of things, I'm not on a 3-man.
Don't sweat the small stuff, and everything is the small stuff. When I was about 17, I had been working for a guy that was a cabinet maker, and I had been working for him since I was like 13. And the guy treated me like a man from the first day that I got hired. He never treated me like a kid. And by the time I was 17, I was doing entire projects for the company. And this was the first time that I had ever done a project that wasn't in-house. Like I was going out to somebody's place of business, and I was doing woodworking in this person's place. Now I had been working for a long time. I was good at it, but I had made a bar for like a buffet where you slide your tray down that kind of a thing, except not, done in oak, really beautiful stuff, not something you'd see, that's cheesy. But I get this thing built, and my boss comes in And I mean, I've been working on it for 2 months in this place. I got it all buffed up and I'm showing it off, and I'm final inspection. I've got 48 hours before, and I'm done with 2 days to spare. And he comes in and he's looking at it and he goes, yeah, no. He goes, it looks good. He goes, it's leveled off, right? It's from one side to the other, whatever. We're not dropping it all. And I went, level for real, bro. Like I knew it was level when I built it, yeah. Everything was to the right size. It dropped 11 and a half inches from one side of it to the other. And when my boss finds this out, he looks over at me and he goes, well, you only needed another half an inch. And I go, oh, thank God, man, we can shim that. He goes, no, another half an inch and you'd have been a foot off. You're 11 and a half inches off. And I'm waiting for him to just explode. I'm waiting for him to just lose his stuff. Yeah. He's still alive. His name's Greg Skaska. Great man. Skaska, Casey.
That's awesome.
But yeah, shout out to him. He just started to laugh. And then he put both hands on his knees, right? Like doubled over laughing. And then he stands up and kicks his head back laughing. And I'm like, wow, man, I thought you'd be really mad. And he goes, why would I be mad? And I'm like, because I screwed up really bad. He's like, yeah, but I'm not the one that's going to fix it. He's like, you're the one that's going to fix it. And I go, yeah, but I mean, it's going to cost you money while I fix it. He goes, I don't care, but you're going to be miserable. He's like, you'll never make this mistake again. He's like, you have no idea how hard this is going to be to fix, how bad this is going to suck. And you got 2 days.
That's right.
That's right. About 5 hours in, dude, I'm sitting there like panicking. I'm 5 hours in trying to figure out what I'm doing. There's no way I'm going to be able to fix this. It's just going to, and he showed up with 3 guys, like older dudes, and they came in and just banged this out in about 4 hours while I but he was one of those guys who couldn't fluster. You know what I mean? You could not fluster this dude. I don't care what happened. He was just I wish I was more like him, honestly.
He probably learned a long time ago, man. He's killing himself, getting nutted up about stuff. Yeah.
So how about that ASAP Rocky thing? This is there. I'm shocked at the number of people that followed this case. I really am. I'm shocked at how many people, and I know that it was televised. That kind of, you get an opportunity when they're filming in the courtroom. It's kind of fun to see everybody perform or whatever. But what a BS case.
Yeah.
Like they're just really, this is one of those great opportunities for those who didn't watch the trial. You don't have to watch this entire thing, but if you go and watch highlights, there are things that you're going to see. I'll make a prediction right now. If they wanted to, the judge did some real questionable stuff in this. Like he absolutely destroyed one of the witnesses, right, for the state. I mean, he's on there just yelling at this dude, telling the guy, just admonishing this dude like he was related to him, not like it was a dude sitting in the corner. He's telling him how it's making him look stupid and all of that stuff, like really bad. And he did all of it in front of the jury. But I bring that up. I bring that up because it gives you an idea of just what a nozzle the state had for their lead witness, right? Their number one witness was saying stuff like, "Oh, you think you slick? You think you're getting hot now? You're just." It sounded like a dude on a yard talking to another guy, man. And they're
perfect.
And they're going back and forth, and the judge is yelling at him. I watched about 5 minutes of it, of just the highlight reel. But this is one of those great things that people say all the time. There's 300 witnesses in the Diddy thing. Why do they only have 3 people that they're going to put on the stand? This is why there are only 3 people that will put on the stand. Because if you're a good attorney, you're going to get your witness in there, and you're going to put someone else in the room and say, "You're a defense attorney. Go beat the hell out of my witness, and let's see how they hold up." That you can't put people on the stand that aren't good at being on the stand. And to be really honest, hip hop is one of the the key lawyer. Their key witness was a disaster. Hip hop is an industry where there's a lot of bravado, right? A whole lot of bravado, a whole lot of machismo, right? A lot of guys. I mean, to the point of misogyny, and this is a nasty group of people. They say bitch and hoe a lot, and they look at some of the stuff we found out just recently, like old Ye in his tweets, Yadolf said in his tweets, that, how it is. Sometimes you just gotta right? Sometimes talking doesn't get it done, and sometimes you just got to put hands on a woman. I promise you, if Kenny G had said that, if Billy Joel had said that, right, or somebody, we'd have gone, right? The entire world would have been completely shocked. But within the hip hop world, when somebody says something as foul as, yeah, sometimes you just got to put hands on a woman, it's kind of sadly, the music backs that up. The culture backs that up. And we see this
expect
have
it, bro.
an effect. Yeah. So all those people that they call crazy conspiracy theorists who say, it's kind of odd how these big liquor companies push, liquor, and they also happen to be really heavily invested in the hip hop game. And if you follow the trail of money down a little further, they invest in private prisons. And it almost looks like, there's a mission to keep as many people locked up as you can. And I know that these theories sound insane a lot of times, when people say that, conspiracy theories or tinfoil hat wearing stuff. But when you start chasing down who owns what, it gets really weird, man. You start to realize that a lot of what's getting run in this world isn't getting run by governments, but are being run by companies as much as anything else. It's the world of the corporation, and it's pretty damn scary. But Cooter nailed it. The other ASAP, because apparently they're all ASAPs. I'm not sure if you knew this. I wouldn't lie to you.
Yeah, remember when one of our viewers was asked me about it, and I was like, oh, and so then I thought they were talking about the other trial that's been going on for like 9 months.
Right.
Because I can never remember that dude's name. I watched that in the beginning, but it was so long. And I have so many other court hearings to record and to monitor. I just gave up on it, and I figured, I'll catch up with it at the end. And I don't remember that dude's name to this day. It's like, is Iziga or something like it's probably, or anything even close to that. So it's really hard for me to.
ASAP Relly is the witness against ASAP Rocky. And why you can't keep that clear in your head doesn't make any sense to me. Why it's as simple as the nose on your face. ASAP Relly. That's your witness. ASAP Rocky, apparently they're all ASAPs. That was like this was part of the club thing. I mean, like I'd be, ASAP Rocco, you'd be, ASAP Sam. It's just, I don't know, but you know what it's like? Bay.
It is like Bay. What did you think when you first started seeing all the dudes with the name Bay and what did you?
Do you know
what was your
the funniest part of this? The funniest part of this is I only knew at the first prison that I hit, there was only one Morris Temple dude on the whole yard, right? So his name was Johnson Bay. So I go, and he ran a sports book. So I hit the next yard and I said, "Is there a sports book running here yet?" And the guy's like, "Only one, but it's a black dude." And I'm like, does he take bets from white dudes? He's like, yeah. And I just wanted to see what kind of action he was running or whatever.
Sure.
And I'm like, what's the dude's name? And he's like, it was something Bay. And I walked up to him and I'm like, bro, what are the odds? I know your brother. Like I gambled with him. He runs a sports book too. I'm like, his name's Johnson Bay. And he's like, oh, we are brothers. He's like, but he's not my brother.
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently, and I didn't realize at the time, but there is this religion, and it's exclusively for the black fellas. There are no white people in it, but they call themselves the Moorish
racists.
Temple. They're a little racist, yeah, they're a little racist.
That's all
right. But they believe they take the name Bay, so you take your last name becomes your first name, and Bay becomes your last name. So when these guys have their religious ceremonies, which they do. Several times a year they have these things, and they wear a fez, by the way. Which look, I'm not rocking. You gotta like the fez.
I promise you, by not our next show, but in the near future, I'm gonna have a fez hat to wear. Good. Yeah.
Yeah. You know something? Quibsy's got an excellent collection of fezzes.
No way.
People, that have been through. Because of her husbands, and they were rocking.
Yes.
They also have some really Napoleon-looking furry headdress things that come in their own cases that are just they're into it, man. They're super into the pomp and circumstance with all of that BS. So Cooter by the Lake says, apparently Ye fought it over. He decided he wasn't a Nazi. You know what? Not falling for it anymore.
Damn.
All of this is just this cat trying to stay relevant. because that's such an important
And now to
part of
save
who
his
this
ass, I
guy's
think.
life is. Yeah. I mean, this dude is in a lot of trouble. He
Yeah.
really, he has to know at this point that the wolves are at the door. Now, I did a show on his woman, and how there's a lot of people out there that think she's no victim, right? We don't need to worry about Bianca. This is the narrative. I'm not saying this is the truth. There's a lot of people out there that say she's playing this guy like a banjo, and is doing everything possible to get him into a conservatorship, because we had all heard a leak that he had offered her $5 million or something in the divorce. And there's nothing wrong with a $5 million settlement, but it ain't got nothing on running an account that's got a couple of $100 million or more in it. And that's I think Bianca wants. And I don't think she's alone. The people that the leaks on this say that when she's sitting in a room, she's stoking Ye the hell up. And you know what I'm talking about. We used to do idiots for laughs on the yard. You get one of those guys that goes off on tangents, like the sovereign citizen guys. Like I'd see those guys out on the yard just walking and having a good day, and I'd walk up and I'd be like, "Hey, that Article 2 thing in the Constitution," and then I'd just walk away and let them go, and just kickstart that mouthpiece. And for the next 3 hours, they're just going to go and nonstop. Yeah, info dumping.
I would give wine to the guys who I knew would just fight each other when they would get drunk. I've seen that done so often. Yeah.
That's a prison thing. I know that's cold-hearted, but that's a prison thing.
When
I was making Shine, I used to do that too. Yeah, especially if you with Shine, you got to plan the crap for days. So not only could you make that happen, but you could also gin it up a little on the way. Like say to one of the dudes, "Hey man, I'm coming down with Shine. Hey, I'd like 3 of those." "Oh, 3? Yeah, I can't do that, man. I promised to Casper. I could sell you 1 though, right? Tell him the dude you hate just bought 4 of them, but you'll give him 1. It already starts. That dude will be 3/4 of the way through the first honey bear going, "I hate Casper.
I'm gonna take his shit. Yeah,
I'm gonna go get me 1 of those." Isn't that awful? You know what though? There's nothing else to do in there. What do you think shot callers do?
And they do it on a grand scale. I never did that when I temporarily had it. I mean, I shouldn't say temporarily. I had it for a while, but I did. It's just not in my heart to do that to that extent, to where I'm having people stabbed and beat up and fake paperwork and this and that. Speaking of which, man, when am I gonna have time, dude? Chad Marks Chad rescheduled our interview the other day, right?
Yes.
And so he texted me last night. He's like, "Let's do it today." Well, he just did a guy who I was at Pollock with, and the dude is a Montana guy. And the dude's whole story was all not true. And so like I texted Chad last night. I was like, "Dude, that dude you had on that I seen today, that was all bloody. You had to have seen that was all, they smashed me off the yard, but then everyone was saying I checked in." No, they usually keep it pretty real. You either checked in or you got smashed. He's like, "I get it. You'll say you got smashed, but it's not what went down." But
where's your lockup order, brother? Where's your lockup order? It'll say it right on the top of it.
Exactly.
It'll say
exactly.
I still have my lockup orders, bro, and I've been out of prison for. I mean, that was one of the few things that I held on to was my lockup.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go on there and pull dudes' covers. That's not my my mission.
You see it a lot.
Yeah. But so maybe tonight, maybe today or tonight or I don't know when, but I'll just sit down with him for like an hour and a half or something.
I saw a dude talking the other day, and it was another dude that was talking about people ripping each other off, inmates stealing from one another. The sort of the epidemic of how everybody in there steals from one another. And I'm like, where the hell did you do time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Was this a county jail? Because I've never been to a prison where anybody was stealing anything. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been to prisons where people rip stuff off, but they got caught within the second or third time they did something. Everybody found out who it was. And it's not even a matter of it. Well, it's got to be hard to find that out, right? No. 2 inmates go to the cops together and go, "Boss, I'm going to need you to run back some film. And we're going to handle this in-house. You ain't got to worry about it. I promise you, no one's leaving in a body bag or anything like that. But we need to know who's going into cell 20. That's it, right? Simple as shit.
Yep.
And the cops will do it 100 out of 100 times because cell thieves are low lives and they don't want them in their unit.
Yeah.
But this guy's on there just talking about it. He's like, yeah, I had 3 radios stolen from me. I'm like, then you were a rat or a kid toucher, because nobody's peeling anybody for anything and getting away with it.
Nope.
You know, this is another one that people don't seem to get. I was watching this really weird interrogation yesterday. A 16-year-old boy who was, he was obviously on the spectrum, super, super intelligent, 150 IQ, but the kid snapped, ends up killing some people. And one of the people in the comment section said, this dude won't last 2 minutes in prison. And I'm reading the thing like, why won't he? You know, there's this misconception that unless you're like 6'2" and 245 pounds of muscle, you know, with some tattoos on your neck or whatever, like if you walk in looking like Steve Urkel, right, white or black, they're going to kill you, right? That's a misconception that if your paperwork's cool, you can be the goofiest bastard on planet Earth, and they're just going to make you a mascot. I mean, you might get clowned on, but nobody's going to hurt you.
Yeah. You know? Nope. And you'll get when we have a spread, you'll get part of the spread. If we have burrito night, you're going to get a burrito. Yeah. Yep. People don't get that.
And they're the people that are some of the most memorable people from prison, actually. Those people that are fish out of waters that are just so in the wrong place.
Yep.
Like I told you about the old man. Yeah. Scuba Steve. The guy, he wore compression socks 365 days a year, right? In Phoenix. So he'd be walking around with the white compression socks up to his knees. Old Scuba Steve. Good God in heaven. Justine, they actually have a date for his for the hearing. I don't have it in front of me, but his date got set several days ago. I'll be honest. This is the hardest thing in the world for Q right now. It was always so much fun and it was exciting, and we would talk about it, and it's like a pipe dream thing. And then they say, yeah, we'll hear you. We'll give you an opportunity to tell us why you think you ought to be resentenced. And now that that's actually coming, I think it's burning a hole in his stomach you could drive a truck through. I think that.
Yeah.
You know, this is a guy that was doing life with no chance whatsoever of ever getting out. And the realization that this could fricking happen, you know, is, or maybe it's the realization that it might not happen. And then he would have to be starting the whole process again. But this is really hard on him. He could use all the prayers that anybody could send him, for real.
Good.
But
I'm glad.
He's in good spirits. You know, every time I talk to him, he's always in good spirits. But it's like,
of course he is. He doesn't want you to worry about him. You know what I mean?
No, but it's, you know what it's like talking. It's like talking to honestly, it's a little like talking to a dope fiend. You know what I mean? Because over the course of the call, there are those moments where he's like, he'll start to talk about, you know, he's been saving Unicorn cash and investing it for his entire, like he's got enough cash he could get out and buy a house. You know, I mean, he's not buying one in downtown Manhattan, but he could get out and put down a down payment on a house and buy a car. Like he's been planning as if this might happen someday, and we'll be on the phone.
So awesome.
And he'll be talking about, you know, when I get out, and he'll do this, and this, and then, you know, we'll talk for a little bit more, and he'll go, you know, the odds of this probably ain't in my favor, and the call will swing in the other direction, and I'll say, you know, the odds weren't in your favor to get the hearing.
Yeah.
Right? That's, you know, that was never in your favor ever. But here's the cool thing. If they were to say, yeah, we're going to resentence you, there would be a resentencing hearing. It would be for show. You know what I mean? Like because I said to him in a resentencing hearing, I could go in and testify, like they could call people. There's a lot that you can do in that. But his attorney just said it would be a waste of time because it's at that point, it's literally a show. Because the only thing that they could sentence him to would be like 25 or 30 to life is what he would get sentenced to.
Right.
And the dude's got more than 30 in without a write-up.
Yeah.
You're gone.
We can't get his name across Trump's desk or something like that. You know what I mean?
If you knew the things I'm doing to get his name across Trump's desk and everybody else's, I've been I've been doing this. I even tried to do it to the previous administration. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me who signs that. You know what I mean? But as we get, and the way I look at it is, I got 3 years, because the best shot of getting this dude a pardon is probably on the way out the door. So we just got to get these channels big enough by then, right? That we can throw our weight around. But you know what? When
make it a movement, like a free Q movement. Yeah.
When we started the lifeboat and there were 15 people in the chat, I used to say, we're going to get this dude out.
Whites and blacks together, showing a front, man, it would be a good optic for Trump. You know what I mean?
In fact, the best time to do it would be right before a State of the Union address, so that you could bring Q into the room and put him in a suit. He's a handsome bastard too. He really is. He's
well, that's our mission statement then. Yeah, that's our mission statement. Yep. Yeah. I know you've been on it. I know that. I'm just saying.
One of the reasons that I don't push this as often on my channels as people would probably like me to do or whatever is because, and you may not believe this, but it's a fact. The number of people who end up wanting to help in this is incredible. We had almost 1,300 letters written on his behalf, which is amazing. But there's also a lot of people that have said, I'd like to help with his legal defense. I'm not exaggerating. Hundreds of you have said, how can I send money to help with this dude's legal defense? I'm a convicted bank robber and con man. As much as I would love to take money from you people to help somebody, if I do that, the bad people of this big red button universe will go to town, right? Anything I get seen wearing a watch, you people will have bought it with Q money. I get a car, it will have been Q's money. And we watch this crap go on all over the place online. I don't want to do anything that could smut up this dude's, nothing about this is going to have any kind of a scent of impropriety. So I'm not being uncool about it. I promise you, but I'm just trying to make sure that this thing just stays pristine and whatever. And you know what? When they roll his ass out, I will come here and tell you guys how much money I had to pump into this, and then I'll ask for help because no one can say I'm ripping anybody off or anything else. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. There's been some cash that's been put into this.
Yeah.
And I'm not bummed out about that.
No, that's not what you're saying.
Especially if dude walks out. We will sit him right down in the chair. He'll start a YouTube channel as soon as the feds let him. I don't know how his paper. I mean, it would have to be life, unless we get him a pardon, right? But if we don't get him a pardon, I don't know how it will work with the resentencing. Will he have a tail, right? Because there's a lot of weird legalese crap to this. Because if they're resentencing him, they're going to resentence him basically not as a Fed.
Right.
That's kind of what we're arguing for, is the fact that had this been any other place in the United States of America, he would already be free. But it was a where this got picked up, and the fact that they made it a Fed thing is just, it's all squirrely as hell. But one way or the other, we're gonna win that. I promise.
Well, that's awesome. Man.
Segueing into awful people. I have been monitoring the Blake Lively thing. Right. Obviously, we've all been following the Blake Lively case. I think that the most fascinating thing, and I've been following this now as much, if not more than the case itself. I'm watching how the media is treating this case. We're no joke. We're watching a change in how we do things in this country, and it's because of you. It's because the largest audience out there right now, this true crime thing is growing so fast that when a lawsuit like this comes, Baldoni's attorney is playing this thing perfectly. He really is. He's not trying this in court. I don't see this getting to court. How can the Blake Lively team walk in there with nothing but a sack full of BS? Yeah. There's going to have to be a settlement.
Yep. I'm just waiting for that headline, the settlement headline. It will never go to court. I promise you, it never will.
It can't, because what they're alleging. I mean, everything she put in that, and I read it last night again, completely in its entirety. You're not going to find the name of anybody that backs up any of her claims. You're not going to see any, like the screenshots and all that stuff. We all saw it. We saw everything she put out. And then we saw it in context. We heard what she said about being, SH'd, right? Or being groped or being touched inappropriately or any of those things. We watched that actually happen. We heard her truth. Then we saw the real truth. Baldoni's story was a lot closer to the truth than hers was. And this has been fairly consistent. Now, make no mistake. He's not going to tell you his truth either, right? That's all BS. But fortunately, a lot of this stuff is on film. And to no joke, this woman has made an argument that if I happen to be a male lead and I'm working with you and you're a female actress, and in the first time we do an intimate scene, you're not supposed to kiss me, but you grab me by the back of the head and you put a lip lock on me, and the director goes, well, it actually came out pretty good. Yeah, no problem. You ad-libbed that. If I do that in the next scene, they're going to file sexual harassment lawsuit against me because I took the initiative to ad-lib something that you already did before, but it's okay if you do it, and it's not okay if I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe that's the world we live in. I'm not being funny. Maybe we live in a world where a woman could ad-lib that because she is the weaker of the sex. She's the one that has to say yes. Consent, right, should only be a female thing, not a male thing. Pretty jacked up, isn't it?
Yeah, super jacked up.
It's a really messed up argument, but they make it in their case that just because she may have ad-libbed and made more of a kissing scene or more of any of that, not sure that a man can do that. A woman can, but a man cannot.
Right.
A man can be sexually harassed. A man can be sexually assaulted. These things happen. Right?
Yep.
It
happens all the time.
But it's not looking good for them, because as I'm monitoring, I can't find the media outlet, right? That I have found media outlets that are going easy on Blake Lively, but there's nobody out there that's pushing the Blake Lively's a great person narrative. The New York Times isn't even pushing that anymore.
Nope. No, it's because it's an impossible push. Do you know what I mean? And she can say in her amended lawsuit what she wants everyone to think and believe, but it doesn't make it real or true. Her truth is only her truth. It's not the truth, like you just said. And
nothing to back it up.
And yeah. Real quick, I don't know if you want to continue to talk about that, but I do have a little something I wanted to talk about. The Cash Kelly, Blessed to Crochet sent me a link to his YouTube page, and so I've been when I do get a free moment, I have been catching some of his content. I really like this dude.
Yeah,
I really like him, and so I'm gonna reach out to him in the next couple of days, and to see if he wants to come on, or we can go on his show or something. He's got a super cool show. He's a J6er. I just watched the one where his buddy, they got pardoned or whatever. His buddy just got pardoned and came out, and just they're Christians and they're cool dudes, and they're just super. I really like these guys, man.
What's his page called? What's his YouTube channel called?
It's called, I think it's just Cash Kelly. Yeah, I think it's just Cash Kelly. And
I gotta look this dude up just real quick.
Yeah.
Because yesterday, does he spell Cash with a C or a K?
K.
Okay. How old is this dude?
Man, crack don't black, or black don't crack. So black don't crack.
Yeah, I knew what you were going with that.
Yeah. So it's hard to tell. I have a friend in LA that's almost 60, and he looks like he's 35.
I don't recognize. I knew a black dude whose name was his last name was Kelly, and his first name was Curtis, but they called him Cash Kelly, or they called him K2. So yesterday when she first said it, remember at the time I was going, why do I know that name? I know that name. Well, I actually had to go back and look through journals to find out where I knew the dude. But I actually knew a dude they called K2, but his name was Cash Kelly. So, and then I thought,
crazy.
I'll go check out the site and I'll see if it's him. And then I forgot about it because my brain actually only works on one track. I don't have an 8-track brain anymore. I used to. I spend less time in the comment section. I know it's bumming some people out on the boat, but when I start to go into it, to keep everything I have in my head. I used to be able to go out on stage and fart around and tell jokes and do whatever, and then just weave it and keep going back through. And
I know I was going to spend some time saying hi to everyone in the chat, but today that I made a note of it because I've missed the past few days. But like today, I'm just not even like mentally capable. I just woke up. I feel like, but I just want everyone to know that I love them and that I see all the good mornings, and I want to start typing, but then I'm going to miss what you're saying. And then, but I just know that, man, we appreciate you guys all being here and being supportive of this new thing, and it's growing leaps and bounds. And yesterday was a really good show for us.
Hey, Kim, honestly, let's not do that. I mean, we could have this debate until the end of time, but what happened, and I'd be willing to take this argument with anybody, is a bunch of FBI agents pulled down barricades and forced people who were outside having a good time, allowed them to channel into a building that they never should have been in. That was an op. And if you want to do about 40 minutes of research, you will come to that same conclusion, unless you are such an ideologue that those people are satanic because they were there. And if that's the case, well, then there's no, you have to be open enough in anything to be able to listen to an argument.
Yeah, I a year ago I thought, dude, Trump's a liar. Those guys stormed the Capitol and he dog whistled them. But I've researched the entire thing, and I was listening to this dude.
And I didn't call you a filthy hoe or anything like that, did I? I'm just saying this is probably not a discussion that people have openly. If you want, if
just asking, dude.
No, if this is something we want to do here for a conversation, here's the problem. This is toxic because it has been hijacked as a narrative. And if you lead with, they stormed the Capitol.
Well, can I just say something about that real quick? The kid who Cash Kelly had on yesterday, he was like, I had the day off from work. I was like, man, I've never been to the Capitol, so I went. And this is the guy who had a tomahawk and like broke a window or something like that, or I can't remember. And he's like, I got to the top, they had these barricades and people were like scaling it like ants, and then or something like that. They took half of them down, and anyway, he goes like, and so I was just like gonna go see what was going on. He's like, and when I got like when we were like being pushed over it, and he's like, when I got to, he's like, God told me, he's like, man, this isn't safe, man, get down. And he's like, the only way to go was like over, because it was being pushed by some kind of like force. And he's like, I just couldn't even believe that it was happening. And it just like all the kind of happened. And he said, he's like, but no one ever pooped on Pelosi's desk. Those are all lies. And I didn't get that from him, but I'm just saying, like, everything in the whole thing is, like you said, it was an optic for the people that wanted to be optic, right or left, whoever. Some of the right people, like, we stormed, but like even him, the guy said, he's like, storming the Capitol, we didn't believe that's what happened, but because we were being told that so many times, he's like, next thing you know, when I'm telling my story and my truth, I'm saying, when we stormed the Capitol. He's like, but we didn't storm the Capitol. Yeah.
The marching orders come down. And mainstream media, no matter what side that you go on, there are words and phrases that they decide are going to be used. I'm not saying they didn't, but you know something? Do me a favor. I'm not doing this shit, Kim. I'm not doing this. If you want to keep doing this, I'll get rid of you. Nothing. I'm just not playing these games, man. These are shitheads. I'm sorry. You show up. The question: they stormed the Capitol and they're good guys. If you said, hey.
No, these guys are good guys because they're Christians and they're like good dudes.
Yeah, miss me with that shit.
Yeah.
I'm not having it. Go and do a little research or beat it. Honestly, beat it. Doesn't bother me. There are so many other platforms that you can go and check out, Kim. Karen Nation. Let's get a look at this. Look at that. Yeah. Karen Nation. That's perfect. Beat it.
What is Karen? Oh, there you go.
Right? Lovely. Moving toward that love. Moving toward that love. As a Brit, I
have an Aunt Karen.
Why American.
I bet you my Aunt Karen's part of the Karen Nation.
So here it is. I can explain this to you. We allowed it to happen. We allowed it to happen back when. There was a period of time. I don't either. Go to hell. Yeah. There was a period of time in this country where everybody could hang out and have conversations, and they could start without rancor or without. But they decided to try to make it tribal. So instead of saying a Republican and a Democrat, they started to say a red or a blue. Studies have been done on this, by the way.
Yeah.
No joke whatsoever. I was in a prison and we had a drug unit. And the drug unit was designed to help people get sober and get them back into society. So you had to break them into groups. There was no way to have 280 people meet in a group setting. It would have been a real problem. So what they did is they split the groups in half, and half of them were hawks and the other half were eagles. And then they had like 3 different types of hawks, 3 different types of eagles, so that you could pare these people down into recovery groups small enough where they would actually function. You don't want more than about 20, 25 people in a recovery.
Yeah.
To make a long story short, the hawks began to pick on the eagles because they were eagles, and the eagles began to pick on the hawks. And within about 4 months, dudes were getting stabbed because the eagles were beefing with and I'm like, dude, nobody in here is a bird. What is going on? But you take people that have a mentality that lean to that feel like if I'm part of something, and everybody's sort of, man, it's frightening, but it happened. Yeah. There's a great book you can read about it, where they break down exactly how this happened and what the results have been pretty ugly. I
love books like that.
I do too. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of it comes back to a Republican, to Newt Gingrich, had a big hand in this when he became Speaker of the House. And look, now the other side will get mad at me too. But when this dude became Speaker of the House, he would go up and he would walk up to the Capitol and he would take the C-SPAN cameras that just stay on the podium, right? It's a live feed. They're not recording. You know what I mean? So they just leave the cameras on all the time. When Newt Gingrich found this out, he would go up there. He would walk into the room and he would start like I'm doing now. And he would go off for 4 hours about how dangerous the blue side was. Now, whether you agree with what he was saying or not, if you allow somebody to speak unchecked for 4 hours a night, for months on end, and this is literally what the guy was doing. Now, if you go back and look at any of the stuff, you assume he's speaking to 350 people out there, right? That there's this whole group of people that are rapt, like sitting on the edge of their seat, listening to this guy tell you just how awful the Dems were. And we stopped talking about what is this guy's opinion on this, or this. And we started to talk about whether or not, when he was 13 years old, he snuck into a keg party and, did inappropriate things with a girl that was absolutely insane what we've turned it into. It's no longer about people's ideas or whatever. They have to. What are the odds that every single candidate for the last 9 elections has been a racist pig? Because they tell us that in every single election. Yeah. Really, every one of them, that's just how they run it. There's never been one dude that doesn't hate black people that's run for president. I struggle with that. Yeah. But it has become, and this is why we tend not to talk about politics, because you get people that just get ugly, right?
Yeah.
You can't do a shout out to somebody's channel. I'm just asking questions. And you know something? Here's a little something for the English language. If the question is, hey, do you still beat your wife? That's asking a question, isn't it? Yeah. And how do you answer that? No. Oh, so you used to beat your wife. No. So you're still beating your wife, right? That's a question.
Yeah.
You can ask questions that are designed to bring harmony, and you can ask questions that are designed to sound like a Karen.
Yeah. Well, regarding beating my wife, she's in the comment section, so she can tell you, I have never laid hands on her ever. Well, no, accidentally I did one time and I cried. Swear to God. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I can't remember. We were driving and talking and I was flailing my hands or something. I can't remember how it happened, but she always tells her friends who are like in like abusive relationships or whatever. Yeah. She's like, Sam hit me one time and he totally started crying.
I've not
True
hit,
story.
I've not hit Reese. I've not hit, I've never hit a woman intentionally. But I have, but I did hit my first wife by accident. It was the same kind of thing, but I got her like this. And it was a matter of getting burnt, right?
Yeah.
And my hand went back like that from the fire, and I got her on the beak. And I did it at a family reunion. I'm not kidding you, bro. I mean, the only thing that saved me is we did it in front of everybody. You know what I mean? Because if there had been nobody outside, she leaked. It was awful. And then she got the unbelievable raccoon eyes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And for the entire time she was healing, people would go, "Oh, honey, what happened to you?" Gave me one of these. Like she just thought it was the funniest thing in the whole world. To tell people that
when I was in the 4th grade, we used to all have to like congregate at this bus stop, right? And I played the baritone. It's the baritone bass clef. It's like looks like a tuba, but it turns, right?
Right.
Everyone always thinks the sousaphone is a tuba, but anyway, I played the baritone and the sousaphone, but I could only take the baritone home. And I used to wheel it on my skateboard to the bus stop. And this girl, her name was Kim Shirey. I'll never forget her. It would be so awesome if she was watching. But this was, 1973 or not 1977 or something like that. Anyways, she was saying something to me, like, because she was jealous because I was like talking to her friend, and she was saying something to me, and she like spit on me or something. So I went like this. I'm a little kid. I've never thrown a punch in my life, and I just went and I hit her in the stomach, right? And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." But she had 4 sisters, and they were all older than her. And eventually, in time, I dated all of them, like in high school and stuff. But her older sister Karen came to the bus stop the next day and beat the brakes off me, right? Just
nice.
Beat the brakes off me. You punched my sister, ba 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 ba. She was like in the 8th grade, and I was like, 4th grader. And then my dad found out about it, and I got the belt. He would grab me by the shoulder and, bam, bam, and I'd spin in circles. He'd start crying, because he was hitting me and I'm crying. It was, and my dad spanked me 3 times in my life with a belt, and it was always an emotional time for him, but he knew I needed it. So
listen real quick, because I don't want to leave this up for the next 2 weeks. I have not been charged with domestic violence in my life. I've copped to everything I've ever been charged with. I don't have DV charges. Right? Never happened. I don't know where these people come up with the bullshit that they come up with. I have
terrific guy. I didn't know you were a terrific guy.
I am, dude. There's no question.
Yeah.
I got.
Don't let it get to you, brother. For real.
It does.
We already know.
I got jacked in the face after a New Year's Eve party by a girl that I was briefly engaged to, and she hit me hard enough. I'm not kidding you. Where if there was a refrigerator and a wall, like where the refrigerator opens, there was a wall right there. If it had not been there, she'd have knocked me the hell out, dude. Yeah. She hit me. She chin checked me. My head did this number, and I went into the corner by the refrigerator. And for a good 3 seconds, I couldn't figure out what the hell happened. Yeah. Like it hurt so bad. I was like, there was no way that just came from her fist. It couldn't have happened. And then once I got my shit together, I reached out because directly behind her was a hook that we had all the keys on. And when I reached for it, she went like this. And I was like, the hell are you flinching for?
Yeah.
Right? I didn't hit you. You just punched me in the grill. And I took the keys and left. After she laid it down in the street in front of the car to try to keep me from going. She was obviously we didn't get married. It was not. It wasn't a good thing. If a woman hits you first, you call 911. If a woman hits you to the point where your life is in danger, well, then you can do an awful lot to make sure that your life is not in danger without beating the crap out of you.
Yep. And every woman in my life would agree, dude. Like my daughters, everyone like, Dad, if she's hitting you, hit her back. Now, in theory, that sounds fair, right? But it's in real life that can't happen. But like, unless your life is on the line, but who knows? How do we even get on this? I think.
Well, you know what?
It's a holiday.
I was at a daycare center, and there was a girl trying to kidnap a kid, and I was just going to drop off Spanx Calhoun, but my family owned it, and my sister was like, "She's taking that child. Do not let her leave." And I didn't hit her. I did, however, she had hair about that long, and I did at one point. I first went over and just got between her and the door, and she just kept trying to, and finally, at one point, I did have to sort of wrap myself, and I just said, "We're just waiting here till the cops get here. Yeah, all good. We're just waiting here till the cops get there." And then the cops got there and arrested them.
Yeah.
So it's always fun when the cops show up and don't arrest you. Yeah. Someone asked a great question in one of the chats the other day. They made a comment actually. They said the problem becomes states where if somebody makes a DV call, someone gets arrested. Nevada's a state like that. If there is a call made, someone is getting arrested. And the problem becomes that a lot of times then that person blows off going to court, or they get steamrolled. If you're somebody that has been in trouble with the law and you go down there and they say, if you plead guilty today, you're not going to be any trouble. Now you do have a DV on your record. I've never had to worry about that. But there are guys who get those. And if you get 3 of them, they're sending you to prison. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there are states where I think that's an issue, you know, especially in this day and age. I mean, if you show up and no one has a mark on them, how do you not use a little bit of discretion and go, okay, nobody got hit here? I watched one on Cops where the guy went to jail for the night because he was screaming as loud as he could at his whatever she was. I don't know if they were married or not.
Yeah.
But he was calling her the C word, right? Which is foul. We've talked about that on my show a bunch. I'm not a fan of the word. But screaming that at the top of your lungs, I don't know if that justifies getting locked up. Maybe get the guy out of there or whatever. But it's a fun topic. I mean, it's always a good time.
Yeah. I mean, locked up for disorderly, creating a disturbance.
There you
whatever.
go. Correct. Don't put it on his record for that. That's probably the smarter.
Yeah. That's what I was just going to say. I'll put it on his record for that. But going back to the Pieto story or whatever, Petito or the Gabby, where they were pulled over and it was a domestic situation. Someone had called it in and they said the guy had hit her. And they both denied it. And she said that she was the aggressor. And he had marks on him, but they did the best thing. They just split them up for the night, and let them both cool down. They even took him to a battered men's shelter or something like that. Or it was a battered shelter or a separation. It's something like that because he didn't have money for a hotel room. So, well, see, that's what we get for going into the chat.
I'm not sure that anyone.
He kissed me, unfortunately.
I'm not sure I'd buy the bigger nose thing. You've not seen this thing in public. It has its own zip code. If you ever saw it in real life, right?
Yeah.
If you ever saw it in real life, I think you would find that.
I mean, if there's any Rush fans out there, we can just say Getty Lee noses.
Yeah, you know something, bro? I'm not far off of Getty Lee's beak. You know that.
No,
right?
but Getty's is big. Getty's is big. Getty's is like this. What I mean?
It does, exactly.
That's true.
Sarah Boone did a lot of, she used 911 as a weapon.
Yes.
That came out.
Hashtag facts.
I caught a little, there's a story. I don't know if you guys caught it, but apparently Sarah Boone has already had some trouble inside. They did not say what the trouble was, and that's usually a good sign because if they tell you that the person was moved from wherever they were at to a different unit and they don't tell you why, somebody either beat the bark off of them or they beat the bark off of that person, but there had to be some kind of physical conflict. If it was something else, they would have written about it. They don't like to tell you. They like to keep that close to the vest, but I have a feeling she already got smacked around. She's got one of those jaws that likes to run. Even when she got up to make her statement, man, like that's a woman that likes to talk. Her interrogation, they sort of just sat back and let that woman bury herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was. I mean, there's some obviously mental health.
How do you not try to take him out of the suitcase? Just as a criminal. I mean, as a criminal, if you realize that you wake up in the morning and this dude's still in the suitcase, right? You realize that you killed this guy. She knows she screwed up. It's like 3:00 in the afternoon or whatever. She makes no attempt whatsoever to do anything about it. She just leaves him in the suitcase.
Yeah, there's that. But let me play devil's advocate for a second. Like he's saying, like if he can talk, because this is law enforcement's rule. If they're talking, they can breathe. That's their rule, and so obviously that rule is going to have to change because when the guys are like, I can't breathe. Well, you're yelling at me so you can breathe.
Yeah. Well, we know that George Floyd's not a great person.
That's right. That's right.
He also had a lot of fent. I mean, I'm not giving Derek Chauvin a pass. He's an ass. But that guy had enough fent in his body where if they left him alone, he probably would have been dead in about 20 minutes anyway. He was saying, I can't breathe when he was in the back of the SUV. And overdoses on fent you feel like somebody parked, a car on your chest. It feels like you're literally, trying to fight to get that in.
Yeah, which is crazy because like when you overdose on tar, like you just go to sleep. I mean, it's happening. You're like, oh, F.
Have you ever had a lollipop? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I have.
The first time I ever took, for those who don't know what we're talking about, the Fent is often made into a sucker.
My grandma used to get them.
Correct. It's usually hospice. It's usually really old people or end of life. And they make these fentanyl lollipops. And in their strongest strength, if you take an entire one, you're done. I promise you. Like, I don't care who you are. I had a habit. And a guy that was working in a hospice care center sold me 6 of them. And I brought the first one home and I'm like, took the top off, put it in my mouth. I'm rolling it around. I'm doing stuff online. And within about 5 minutes, man, I'm going like, I'm struggling really, really hard to breathe. And it got to a point where I would take that thing out and I would do it for like 40 seconds and then I would wrap it back up. I ended up having to use another substance because my breathing was like, I was in danger. That's a serious substance. I understand the concept. If you're breathing, you're safe. Like, I get that.
Right.
He is, however, inside of something where the oxygen is going to turn into carbon dioxide. You know what I mean? Pretty quick.
Yeah. See, I didn't even think about the oxygen.
But I don't think that's
just think it's
what got him. I think that what got him is actually, and I think that the autopsy kind of backed this up as well. So she beat the piss out of him when he was in there. They allege that she may have hit him with a baseball bat. She may have shoved him down the stairs, but he had all kinds of bruising.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had all kinds of, when they did the autopsy, he had contusions and things all over his body. And if
I didn't know that.
If you just watch the video that she shot, hey, Katie, if you watch the video that she shot, you'll notice there's 2 videos. The suitcase isn't in the same place in both of them. And it's not even in the same orientation. So he could end up upside down in this. And what ends up happening is
that poor guy, man.
You literally suffocate yourself. All of the weight of your body is pressing down on your organs in your lungs. And at first you flex your muscles so that you keep this wider open. But as you can't do that anymore and you keep fighting,
can't take a deep breath.
The weight of your body is now the muscles can't hold it and you suffocate yourself.
Yeah.
This is how you see people in concerts when everybody gets crushed together. And
I was just going to say that
people like this, as they clear out, people just fall over. They suffocate standing up, right? They're there, but they're being pressed in so hard that the diaphragm.
Just try doing that. Just try taking like 10 short breaths. Like,
I
you feel like you're going to die.
Called. Yeah, I believe that is what it is called. It's positional asphyxiation.
Smartest chat in the world. Yeah,
no question. And they followed the cases. But Alicia, I hope I described that decently. Yeah. Well, when you were a little kid, if you ever got on your back, right? I had an older brother. He would love to pin me. He'd get me on my back and grab your legs and like push you up until you're on your back and your feet are in your face and you can't breathe. You're not going to get
That's funny.
You, Alicia.
Did I ever tell you about when I would get a celly and we would play to whoever could stuff each other in next to the toilet in the wall in the cell. So that's how you would win. Whoever would get stuffed into the
dumbest games in the entire world. Dude.
Yeah. Hey, I had one celly. I had one celly because I beat him every time. Right. And so I was like, I'd be talking with some friends sitting on the bunk. I'd be like, hey, watch this. I'm like, hey man, put yourself in between the toilet and the wall or else I'm going to do it. Right. And he would just like, man, this is effed up. And he'd go crawl back there. Because he knew either way, he's getting stuff back there. Yeah.
Right.
Good times.
You know why I put this up here? Do you know why I put this up here? I'm not busting on anybody, but I don't get to say Northumberland very often. It's
Northumberland.
When Alice from Alice in Wonderland is sitting on the bank of the river and with her sister doing her lessons. She reads she's talking about Northumberland. That's part of the lesson. So every time I see it, I've read it a gazillion times. I always do the flashback. So
yeah, that's cool. Northumberland. The Battle of 1912.
This really is, and I think that it does me too.
Yes,
Christy Covington.
Me too. That's when I was taking those short breaths.
Yeah.
Freaking me out.
I suffer viciously from claustrophobia, which is, I know if you've ever seen my Instagram, you'd think that I beat it or overcame it, but I really did not.
Let me see if I have a photo.
Paula Penley says, overdosing on opioids feels like when you fall on your back and you have the wind knocked out of you and you're struggling to pull air in. I agree with you. And that's if you're conscious, right? But more often than not, overdosing on opioids for most people, they're not taking it while wide awake, right? You know, normally it's at the end of the day. So they've been stacking and stacking and stacking, and it's a respiratory depressant. So it slows down the breathing. The people who pass away at it aren't feeling that at all. They're getting past that phase to where you're so relaxed that normally like a sleep apnea person breathes twice a minute, right? They go, the back of the throat closes off and then they go, and it jerks them awake. It's like giving someone a sternum rub. But without being there to give someone a sternum rub, they're so relaxed that the lack of oxygen will not wake them up, and they go to the other side. It's
yeah.
England is in northeast England, very beautiful and sparsely populated. And it's an Alice in Wonderland, which is the most important thing ever. And do you know, I found this really great report. I was doing a little study on Alice about when, so the story of Alice in Wonderland is told to the sisters in a boat. This is how the thing started. The youngest of the girls' name was Alice. This is the Liddell family, and he would go out there with the Liddell dad and all of the daughters, and he would tell them stories. And that was the start of Alice in Wonderland. But they tried to track it down to the exact date, and they claimed that they had to pull the boat off of the river because of weather. And they claimed it happened on July 4th. There was no weather on July 4th. You can actually go back and look through history. And at that time, there was no weather at all on the River Thames. It would have been on July 3rd, which is my birthday. So I'm pretty confident that he started telling the story of Alice in Wonderland on my birthday. My Instagram is just under my name, Tommy Scoville, on Instagram, Justine. And you will see videos in there of me crawling through the bowels of boats, talking to my cell phone.
I'm trying to find the.
You may have been corrected. No, they put Brian up at a Marriott, and Gabby and Brian ended up getting back together after a few hours, says Thina Nail.
Yeah, the Marriott in that small town was used for, I guess they had a contract with them for battered men. Or not battered men, I'm sorry, but just to, probably mostly battered women, but they used it to keep people safe, to separate them if the person didn't have a place to go.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool, actually.
You know something? This is a great comment. Ann from Massachusetts says, I really do believe that Sarah Boone knew exactly what she was doing. I think she just never believed George would actually die. I agree with you 100%. I am of the belief that she was doing everything she was doing to be cruel. Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
That's my dead air music.
How's this for professionalism? Here's what it is, folks. Here's what I'm telling you. I have two of the biggest deals ever in my entire life that are all going on at the same time. So I'm waiting, and you know what I mean? Like I get an email, and I'm like, this could be our guy. This could be our guy.
I get it.
Yeah. So I've been in constant contact. I've had correspondence already with these people, and I am moderately claustrophobic, but extremely afraid of heights. So I went from the halfway house to my job interview at a shipyard in Oakland, California. I went with a black guy. The two of us shared the cost of a cab. We told him we were taking a bus, and we took a cab so we could get there quicker and have a little bit of time to fart around away from the halfway house. Good dude, really good dude. But when we got there, they asked you all these questions, and he said, are either of you afraid of heights? And I go, no, I'm good. I've jumped out of airplanes. I don't care about heights. And he goes, good, because you're going to be doing an awful lot of working on high places. I said, yep, no problem at all. And he goes, how about really small places? Are either of you claustrophobic? And of course, I want this job, and I'm a convict, and I've been to 7 interviews, and 7 people turned me down. So I went, no, I'm good. No problem. I'm good. And the black dude went, nope, I'm cool with small places. And the second he walked out of the room, right, we started vaping, and the black dude looks at me and goes, bro, I don't go up on high things, man. I ain't getting on a ladder. He's like, I don't like high places, bro. And I go, hey, I got your back. Anything that we got to do that's up on a ladder, I'll do that, because I don't like small places, man. He's like, yeah, I got your back. I'll do the small stuff. You do the – well, it didn't work like that. We got out there, and they were like, all right, we need 40 of you on that high thing. It was never one of those one dude goes to do this. And they're not just sending me into things that are this big that I got to crawl through, but I'm doing it with a helmet on, with a respirator and all of that. And I'm sandblasting. Dude, we're talking about nightmarish conditions, honest to God. And I'd be in there going, I'm free. I'm not locked up. If I want to quit, I can. If I want to quit, I can.
Yeah.
It was awful. If you ever get a chance to see some of the videos, man, you can't stand up, and it's a maze that you go through like this.
Yeah.
And it took 27 minutes for me to go from where I started to the very end of the boat. 27 minutes crawling through it. And dude, I was in there one day, and I'm in there, and the lights on my headset go out. And my boss says to me, I go, hey, these are starting to get dim. He's like, don't trip. He goes, when they start to go out, they get real dim. You got a lot of time. And he gives me 2 whole packets of batteries. Bro, when this light went out, I went, and I'm in the dark, and I'm trying to get the batteries and put this thing in there. And it's like,
you probably didn't realize it was dimming.
Dude, I am like, I'm trying to get these things, and you bite them. I'm biting them to try to find it. And there's 4 of them, right? I'm trying
oh my God.
And when I finally got it with the light back on, I'm running, trying to get through this and banging my head on everything, crawling as fast as I can.
It probably did dim, brother, but it probably happened so slow you didn't realize it was happening.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Here's a picture of me not breathing. Remember in my story, I said, the paramedics, when they brought me back, I cried for like 6 months whenever I'd see an ambulance or a red truck. I would just start crying because it was so emotional. This is the guy who brought me back. There was 3 other paramedics in the room, but just a great guy. You can see where they had the ice and trying to bring me back, but they Narcan me twice, if not 3 times. I can't remember. But that's in treatment. I was in treatment there.
I know. I was looking at the bed. I was going to say that looks like a rehab room. Look at the kick deal on the bottom of the floor. It's definitely institutional.
Yep.
You OD'd
crazy
in rehab.
Heavy picture though. I that picture used to bother me a lot, but I use it in my talks when I go to treatment centers and talk. I have like a little slideshow of me deteriorating, coming back, and then then I talk about God.
You overdosed in
I was
rehab?
drunk. Yeah. I got drunk first. Then it was time to go to group. And I was like, oh man. And I knew the guy downstairs had some tar. He was Sereno. I went downstairs. I said, man, I just need a little something to like even me out, because I always get sober when I do tar, and I've been drinking.
Was his name Loco? Goofy? What was his name?
Yeah, I think it was Goofy Loke. Yeah.
Yeah, you give me 4 more guesses, I'll get it.
Yeah, no, you would have. That dude ended up going to jail too, for dealing in the treatment center, or he went back to the feds.
Low life, man. So dealing in a treatment center is just low budget. Man.
It is, man. Honestly, and then telling me about it, because I was like on day 21 of clean of using 5 grams a day.
He pushed up on you to tell you that he had dope.
Yeah, to get me past that hump. He told me, he's like, man, if you just need to get past that hump, I'm like, I'm good, brother, thank you. And then, but when I got drunk,
stupid ass phrases. I can get you out the street. You just want to get out the street.
Yeah,
Shut the hell away from me.
But there I am getting saved. Look how big I was.
Yeah,
I was
what you look like when you were in prison with me.
Yeah, I was 280 there. Yeah, big guy. Yeah. And that's Pastor Steve Lortz.
Nice.
One of my
So right before
mentors.
the dip?
But yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to share those things quick. But
I did. I have absolutely watched the OnlyFans girl that unalived her boyfriend. It's a heartbreaking case.
What?
She's yeah, there was an OnlyFans model that apparently was making really good money as an OnlyFans model, and they were kind of living the high life. And she was, like a bleach blonde, fake boobed, thin looking, whatever. And he was a handsome looking black dude. And she beat the crap out of this dude. It was a absolutely classic case of DV, except the roles were reversed. She was beating on this dude constantly. And there's some video of her beating the crap out of him. And he doesn't seem to put hands on the woman ever. Like he would try to restrain her or whatever, but she ended up stabbing him and killing him. So
wow.
It's a pretty tough story, man.
Wow, that's heavy.
You say there's a problem with the knife. I did not know that. She said in Florida, and there's a problem with the knife. Well, because the person was stabbed with a knife, and I do believe it did happen in Florida.
This is recent?
This case is within the last year and a half. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I heard a little bit about.
I didn't know anything about the. I didn't hear anything about the knife.
So you know what's funny? I want to do a segment. Maybe we'll just do it once a week, where you and I will tell a story, and the chat will have to decide that it's either from Germany or Florida, because all things of the macabre either happen in Germany or Florida. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I want to do that
segment. Florida or Germany, right?
Yeah,
German
where did this happen?
Florida man.
Yeah, and then we'll read the story, and then people can guess, dude.
Well, we're.
I'm gonna set that up. What's that?
The lifeboat's going to be getting a tour bus so that we can go and attend some of these trials and broadcast. Tell everybody what we saw in there actually being in the court, that kind of thing.
Dude, I can't wait to set that up. Please let me do all the computer stuff for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know anything about that. That'd be perfect. But so this is the dream, and we're getting this put together. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking to myself, well, it might just be cheaper to buy a house in Florida.
That's right.
Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody in Florida. I love the state. I love everybody. Yeah. But let's keep it real, man.
Yeah.
Right? Let's keep it real. A lot of stuff happens in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you Google I shouldn't do this to any of you, because if you've never done it, this is a terrible thing to do to you, but I'm doing it anyway. If you've never Googled the phrase Florida man, go ahead and Google Florida man.
Oh yeah, I bet, dude.
You want to go down a rabbit hole? You want to go down a rabbit hole that could literally last you the rest of the time that you're on planet Earth and you wouldn't run out of it? Google Florida man. Nothing else. Because every article starts with a Florida man recently robbed a 7-Eleven using an alligator. A Florida man recently, and so the computer, they're not being funny. They're just searching out every time some reporter wrote a Florida man. The way those sentences end, it is absolutely one of the funniest things. John makes a good point. Or Quebec. I'm going to tell you something.
Oh, yeah. I think that's where John's from, or Ontario.
I spent a lot of time in Quebec. St. Catherine.
My brother, the one who worked at the French immersion school, was a lawyer. He was a law clerk in Quebec for their federal court system there. Yeah, so when he did his second year YL in France in Poitiers, and then was a law clerk in Quebec, because it was all French. I believe it was Quebec. It was somewhere where they speak all French, and there was a big federal court something.
Right. I used to go. There's a street there called St. Catherine Street, which is it's probably where you would have ended up.
Yeah,
we put it that way. The largest strip clubs in the world are there. There's one called Club Super Sex
on St. Catherine.
On St. Catherine Street, they used to boast that at any given time there were 120 women dancing at any given time. We're talking about a strip club bigger than a Walmart.
Yeah,
absolutely remarkable. I mean, how big it was.
Yeah,
and a very odd place. I cannot come to Canada, Cindy G, not without a whole lot of permission from your government. Unless by some chance you end up the 51st United States, in which case, I'm sorry, I'm kidding. But Donald Trump did say that. One of my favorite YouTubers has a Friday episode of Florida Man and all the different crazy things that happen. I admit it's a guilty pleasure that I look forward to. I like
so idea. We're going to do Florida, Germany. Yeah.
And you know something?
I wonder who that
YouTuber for probably about an hour or so, because there are so many each week, and we can just go through them and say, all right, you're going to have to tell us. You weigh in on it, and we'll have everybody in their vote, right, with either a G for Germany or an F for Florida.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I can't wait. I'm going to start that soon.
You're right. You're right. It's in Montreal. I said Quebec. It's in Montreal. That's what I meant. And I used to go to Montreal all the damn time because I lived almost on the border, right? I went to college in Vermont, but I went to college in Vermont, very northern Vermont. So we could get in a car, and in about an hour and a half, right, 2 hours, I could be in a country where I could drink legally.
That's right.
It's kind of a big deal, and we weren't just able to drink. We were able to drink Brador, right, or Molson, like Canadian Molson, and instead of drinking beer that's 5%, it's 11%, and it will.
Remember when I said? I'm sorry to interrupt. Remember when I said I bought my dad a 6-pack of like some really strong beer from Canada, and he was mowing the lawn and he was driving the lawnmower, and it was like all those lines were cooking. It was Molson XXX.
Oh yeah, XXX.
That's what it was called, Molson XXX. I kept thinking Kokanee Ice or something, but I love a Kokanee. That is my go-to if I'm just buying a 12-pack to go hiking with or something. Kokanee.
Yeah,
was my go-to.
Cindy, here's the crazy thing, Cindy. As much as it's a bad joke, it also isn't.
Thank you, Anne from Massachusetts.
The very first felony I caught when I was 16 years old at the time. So I worked in Canada after being a felon, but I had permission. I had permission to do it from your government. So it can be done. I was bringing a crap load of money into Canada. Our business was based in Vancouver, and we were really generating a lot of money. And if you're generating a lot of money, then they'll generate a green card. I mean, a visa. Yeah. Get a visa stamp. I flew in and out of there all the time as a felon. In fact, by that point, I probably had a dozen of them. Carlsberg, the elephant beer. Never heard of it. Every third place was a strip joint on St. Catharines. Yeah, I was actually being a Weisenheimer. My first really.
Did they have a Deja Vu there, I wonder?
Yeah, my very first over-the-top experience was on Carlsberg.
Really?
I went to Bermuda for a vacation, and we had bought Carlsberg Elephant. We bought a 12-pack of it. I drank 6 of them. My brother drank 6 of them. No problem. Had a great day. Went back. Everything was good. We also happened to have done a hit of acid, right? It probably had a lot to do with the 6 beers not being that big a deal. Yeah. 3 days later, we went back out to the same spot. Hot as hell out on the beach. Yeah. Right? We bought a 12-pack. I drank 6. He drank 6. I vomited all over the place. Like couldn't get back.
That's funny, man.
All bad.
All my first
beer down the toilet.
Yeah.
Worked out really well for everybody involved.
A lot of my first time experiences are in Canada, come to think of it, because I spent a lot of time in the Gulf Islands and in Victoria, on Victoria Island. And first time and only time really I was ever with a working lady of the evening was on Victoria Island. And that's a funny story. I could tell it, but it's a prostitution story, so I don't know. I was young.
Cindy, no, I was just saying that the first time I caught a felony, I was 16. I was making the point. No, by the time I was trying to go into Canada, I had DWIs, I had possessions, a lot of theft stuff. I was a thief. Yes, actually, you'll be doing that tomorrow. We are doing the show tomorrow for the Atwood.
Is that official?
That's official. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be there today, though. You should. Because
Thank you.
I will be there.
I appreciate it.
I will be there doing a Tommy Scoville Hollywood update. And then
cool, man.
We will be doing on Friday. We will be doing the Jester stuff,
and that'll give me a little extra time to put some oomph into it too. And
you got time for oomph.
Yeah, well, it took me. I was to do 1 minute and 58 seconds. It took me 6 hours yesterday.
Really?
Well, but I was still grabbing content and adjust, images and stuff like that. But yeah, Mariana was like, "How far are you?" And I was like, "I'm at 58 seconds." It was like 3 hours in. She's
Nice.
like, "Holy!" Of actually doing the timeline of getting all the content. That's 30 hours, 40 hours, or something like that.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Wait, what? Relatable Reese. Reese is like, wait, what?
Well, because I found out about it about 45 seconds ago. Honey.
Yeah.
Would you like to maybe we could do this with everyone watching though. Speaking of which,
Don't.
you leave that thing in the bathroom. I did. I absolutely did see this. And it was late at night. I don't know the entire story as yet, though, James Collins. This is the girl that they thought may have been Madeline McCann, the girl that has disappeared so long ago. Hold on a second. I love to hear that, John. So I think that I don't know exactly all the details of what the arrests are. There are a lot of people that have really come down on this girl as if she's trying to scam somehow, right? The McCann gate, the little girl that disappeared like without a trace. It's almost like a European
John Bonet.
Yeah, except there's no body. They never found the kid.
Oh.
So this person they believe may be a grown-up version of this girl. Relatable Reese, what happened was when I tried to push this back by about an hour, he said, I don't think you realize how late that is in England. And you're going to time bar a lot of people out from seeing the content because it's getting really late at night. He knows when the power band is. He said, let's move it to Friday, and then you guys can have all the time you need, and the whole audience will be there. She was arrested at an airport for stalking. Thank you, V. McWilliams.
And I get to make the content a little bit nicer and presentable.
Good. Tommy, because of you and Reese, I'm getting ready to go meet a friend for lunch. Haven't seen him in 2 years, getting out of the house for some much needed connection. I love that. Man, I absolutely love that.
Because of you and Reese,
really
I'm getting ready
do.
to meet a friend for lunch. Haven't seen him in 2 years, getting out of there.
I love it.
I don't know Reese well enough to know if she's really making some good digs at you right now. But.
No, she doesn't do that. Yeah, so what's the deal with this girl?
He's a
ex-Scientologist.
Scientologist.
True story. But what is her deal? Is she Madeline McCann or not? You know what? I don't know the answer to that.
Are we talking about Atwood's Madeline?
Yes. Yeah. This is a very, very big deal. But I can't answer that question. And you know something? My heart bleeds every time I look at it. I struggle so hard with this because, I don't know that she knows if she is, but there are, still, you know how many people out there are in similar situations. We hear about the ones that are beautiful and white and blue-eyed and blonde and pretty little kids, right? We hear about the ones that look like John Bonet. And I'm not trying to be an ass, but the people that run the stories want clicks. They want views. And there are babies or young kids that just sell a lot better. We've heard horror stories of like that. Well, like when Elizabeth Smart went missing at the exact same time, there was a little black girl. They literally went missing on the same days in America. You couldn't tell me her name. You couldn't tell me anything about her. And unfortunately, it's heartbreaking. But for the people that don't come back, why will they not test her DNA? It's a pretty, it's like the McCanns are hiding somewhere. Well, it's a very odd thing, but we're going to be following it, and we will definitely keep you in the loop on that.
And didn't she just get arrested
for stalking at an airport? Apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I heard Atwood say something. He was going to try to get her bail or something, and have her come be a babysitter for him.
Julia just wants to know who she is.
Yeah.
It's sad that she can't get answers. The fact that people won't help her is pretty suspicious to me. The media is lying about her. So this is 2025. You hear me start a lot of sentences with that, and I apologize, not even a little. Because this
year is going to be epic, dude. Not just for us. I mean, talking about the world, it's going to be as a game changer. Go ahead.
You're 100% right.
It's already happening, and we're in February.
Shift. That's it. There's a paradigm shift going on. 33 people just got busted for a human tea ring in California. Big deal.
Hollywood's getting exposed.
Hollywood's getting exposed. All of these things are coming out. Cuda by the Lake says she has been tested. It looks like she's a fraud. I don't know enough about this to
neither to speak on it.
To comment on it. V. McWilliams said she had a DNA test ran on a sample left from an original investigation, and I think it came back a 70% match. But the following one says she has been tested and it looks like she's a fraud. So it is a classic case of I need to know a lot more about this before I comment on it with any kind of authority. One of the reasons you'll hear me say really quickly, I don't know, is because if you're a good speaker and you don't get into the habit of saying, I don't know, then you can find yourself trying to fit answers to things so that you sound intelligent. Yep. Everyone can think of someone on YouTube off of the top of their head right now that has never answered a question, I don't know, or I don't know that person, or I'm not sure. Those people scare the hell out of me. I'm not saying they're liars. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying those people scare me.
Yeah.
Now I will say this: I have a really good memory, and I remember a lot of things other people don't. So sometimes it looks like I may have answers to a lot of things. So there may be people out there whose memories are so much better than mine that they really do seem to know something about everything. I don't.
It's like building the evidence to fit the outcome instead
That's
of
a great way to put it.
Do you know what I'm saying? I might not even said that right, but yeah.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying. There are two ways you can do an investigation, and one of them is to start with the conclusion and then take all of the evidence and see if you can make the evidence match the conclusion.
Right.
Or you can start with the evidence and follow it and then get to the end and go, well, Occam's razor style, everything else has been disproven. The only thing that's left has to be the truth. Tommy, question, what is your take on the JonBenet Ramsey case? It's a shame that the person that did it has never been charged.
It is a shame.
It is a shame. It's absolutely a shame.
And they might be
my take on it.
Not alive.
They might still. They may be dead. I think what happens to a lot of these cases is that, especially ones where we don't have a DNA kind of a thing, we don't have something that we can go back to or whatever. Then these people sometimes get busted for doing the exact same thing. Like the person that unalived JonBenet Ramsey could be rotting away in a Florida prison for doing this to somebody else. That happens a lot, where people get stopped because they get incarcerated, but we never find out anything about it. That's a real thing. But in the JonBenet Ramsey case, the fellows over at the behavior panel, shout out to the fellows at the behavior panel. If you guys have never watched the behavior panel, you'll thank me later. These are
amazing channel.
Professionals, amazing channel. 4 professionals with really unique personalities that all are body language experts, and they will look at things. The show that they did on Patsy Ramsey, JonBenet's mother, I came away from that show thinking she knew something. She knew something. The handwriting thing really set her off.
I feel the exact same way until I get to the abuse of poor JonBenet, of what happened during and after her death. That's when I get lost that it couldn't be the mom. You know what I mean?
It's just a bizarre thing all the way around. Yeah. It's such an ugly case, right?
Yeah.
70% match is misleading. We share 96% DNA with great apes. Let me say this real quick, though. This is another one of those things that get really odd and really difficult to figure out, because to say something is a 70% match, what they could be saying is, out of a possibility of 100% that the two of you are related, 70%. Just to say there's a 70% match gives us nothing. There's nothing there that gives us enough structure to make any kind of an intelligent decision. Because yes, we share 96% DNA with great apes, but if I share 70% of my DNA with another man, that could be a completely different metric than what percentage of my DNA we share with apes, if that makes sense. We don't know enough about sometimes just a statement isn't enough. You end up going, I don't even understand what that means. I'd have to have somebody a lot smarter than me.
Yeah, maybe a third of Europe is a 70% match.
I saw Ron read a report the other day that the DNA test showed a 69 plus possibility that she is the daughter of the McCann father or brother of his father. I'm going to have to, I'd love to be able to engage with you on this, but I'm going to have to get smarter in order to do it.
Yeah. So the metric I would like to hear is it's a 1 in, 10 billion chances that she is or not, or, you know what I mean? I like those numbers better than percent.
Well, here's the thing. We see stuff now
I'm
because
still
of
an
like
idiot.
23, because of 23andMe and things like that, where we have these massive databases of people's DNA, and we don't have them because they're criminals. We have them because they decided to put their DNA into a big tub of other people's DNAs as well, so that they can find out where they're from. You can do things like saying that the California or the Golden State Killer, right? One of the most prolific serial killers, guy that got away with it for absolute ever. He used to be a cop or whatever. They caught him very late in life, but they caught him this way. And what you end up with is you say, we don't know who did it, but we know they're related to this person, right? We know that there's a cousin out there. This person is the cousin of whoever killed it, because there has to be. So there's a lot of weird crap. So when we start saying 69 plus, I'm not going to sit and talk about that, because I could say, hey, well, there's 69%. I'm going to be misleading the crap out of people with my voice because I don't know enough about it to talk about it intelligently. And
is the McCann family, are they wealthy?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that. Oh, wow. Well, this is a real freaking problem too. This came up in the ASAP Rocky case, sort of, right? There is this thing that we have to deal with, right? And it is called Mitch McConnell will not seek re-election in 2026, which is good because he's been dead for the last 4 years. No one's had the heart to tell him.
Yeah.
You see the guy.
Mitch. Poor Mitch.
You got to carry the dude out into the room. Maybe it's time to let him go home.
Yeah, dude. Term limits.
For paternity in courts, it has to be well over 90%, says Jess Gunn. Okay. Huh. So chain of custody. Chain of custody can destroy an entire court case like that. For instance, if you mail your DNA in, there's no chain of custody. I don't even know that it's my DNA.
Bye, Mitch.
Right? So chain of custody goes something like this. During the O.J. Simpson trial, they decided that they needed to take some blood from O.J. Simpson to test. So they asked him if they could, they go down, they draw some blood. Taking it to the lab, they stopped by the Greta Green crime scene. The Gretna Green crime scene. Yes. Now, by all accounts, the blood never left the car. However, the chain of custody says, I drew blood, took it to the crime scene, then took it to the crime lab. Well, you effed up.
Yeah.
Chain of custody should have been, I took that blood, 20 minutes later, it was signed in at the, if you
sealed it, double stickers.
Right.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. There's this whole protocol that they go through where you're signing off that it's your blood. And then the guy, the tech or the woman that took the thing signs off that he or she took it. And then it goes into this thing and you sign the outside of it. And this chain of custody keeps that sample pristine. There were bullets in the ASAP Rocky case that they were like, yeah, well, I went and I found these after the fact. It was like, yeah, they were laying around in the streets. I picked them up and brought them down.
Yeah, wasn't it like the family or something?
Absolutely. And they had been at a shooting range earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Well, I carried a gun, but it's a starter pistol because I didn't really want to shoot anybody. I was just going to scare people away.
Ugh. I'm
here to tell you, bro. Ain't no way in hell.
Yeah.
I'm carrying a starter pistol, right? In that world, right, where somebody else is going to pull out something that isn't a
real
starter pistol.
Yeah. You guys are shooting cap guns at each other, pretending to be gangsters.
Those idiot criminals will say to you, "Yeah, I don't ever load my gun. Like I'll carry it." I've heard so many convicts say this. I was always afraid I'd shoot someone. And I'd be like, well, why are you carrying it? Man,
Then why do you
pull
have
that
it?
thing out. Yeah, you pull that out and people just stop, you know? I'm like, dude, you pull that out and someone else pulls one out. What do you do?
Yeah.
Shit, this is empty. Don't trip. There's nothing in it. You know, hey, is yours empty too?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yep. If you have a pistol, whatever, real or fake, you're most likely going to end up in a gunfight. If you just have your fists, hopefully you just end up in a fist fight.
That's why you don't carry one, right?
Yep.
For real. That's why you don't carry one.
And if they have a pistol and you only have your fists, then hopefully they just see you're unarmed and be like, okay, I'm good. My bad.
Yeah, or
brother.
just pistol whip you, you know, catch one in the head.
Yeah, catch one in the head.
The chain of custody thing is they put it in a shopping bag. Okay, good. Yeah. Pam says ASAP Rocky was lucky he won that case. You know what? The witness in that was dog crap. The prosecution should be ashamed at putting it on the way they did. It was such a horrifically tried case. In my opinion, it was bad. But feel free to disagree with me. I do welcome that.
But his reaction to winning the case tells me he was super guilty because he didn't think he was going to win. I mean, you know what I mean? Because he felt guilty.
When he jumped the bar to
jumped over the bar to hug his. I thought they were cousins, but I guess they're.
Do you know what they would have done to me if I did that? I'm not kidding you, man.
I watched those sheriffs just watch him do it, and I was like, "That's LA County sheriffs."
Yeah, you'd have gotten shot, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, especially because they only read the first not guilty. He could have been guilty on all the rest.
Just Gunn says the McCanns are in the UK genealogy databases. Julie showed no relation in the UK. Fair enough. So another thing real quick. I'm going to be on today over on Atwood. I will be on there without my my partners in crime, but they will be with me the following day on Friday. Now, when I go over there and we begin to talk, there are subjects like this one, for instance, that Atwood platforms people. It's what he does. It is his business model as a channel. You will notice I don't platform a lot of people on the lifeboat. I don't. Like Casper, I'll have Casper on. I'll do stuff with my girl. I do stuff with Johnny. It's pretty rare that I have people on. And one of the reasons that I don't is because you end up being judged for the people that you platform.
Yes.
Now, if it's a story that the world wants to hear, I got a scathing email from somebody that wanted to tell me what a piece of crap Atwood was. And it's because they hate 4 or 5 people that he has platformed. Mm-hmm. And let's use one since I've been on with this guy a bunch. Courtney Burgess, right? Why do you keep
I knew you were saying that.
Platforming Courtney Burgess, right? Obviously, this man is a liar. This is the theory. So, okay, let's say that the dude is a liar. He's also in every documentary they've done on Diddy so far, he's mentioned. This guy is part of the Diddyverse, whether we like it or not. He appeared at the grand jury and either handed him over 8 videos or didn't. We don't know, right? Because the guy's a pathological. The guy may or may not be telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know 100% whether or not he's being honest. However, he is absolutely a big deal in the Diddyverse. For that reason, Atwood gives the guy a place. And as the audience, he's not saying, here's Courtney Burgess. I believe everything this man is saying. He's also not saying, here's Jaguar Wright. I believe everything she's saying. He's not saying, here's Tommy Scoville. I believe everything he's saying. He's saying, here are these people. Listen to them and make an opinion if you believe these people are forthright, if they're honest, if they're not, right? Tomorrow night, Justine, relatable reason myself on.
And even one of his guests, that Ronnie Bowe, was like holding him accountable for the guests he has on.
Yes.
And like he has you on, Ronnie, and look at all the stuff that he's stuck. You know, he's really stuck up for Ronnie, you know, when things were bad for Ronnie. And Ronnie wants to.
They did the longest live stream in history trying to find the guy.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, he literally went MIA, and people were saying he had been arrested, and people were saying
I was just gonna say I haven't seen him on any thumbnails or anything lately anywhere.
I think he sort of has gone away, but
Yeah.
I don't know where he is or whatever. Jellycat says Ronnie's my favorite. He's a dreamboat. Well, he this
I liked Ronnie too. Until he started calling us all racist. Whoever was on the Atwood show or affiliated, we're all racist.
He painted a lot of us with a really broad brushstroke, and he liked to say that the only reason that we're doing these shows is because they're black people. We are sort of vultures who are just making money off of black culture. You'll notice I've been talking a lot about a couple of white people recently. I also cover the Alexander brothers. I cover crime. I don't care what color the crime is.
Yeah,
it's kind of but it is a narrative that always picks off a certain percentage of the audience. There's always going to be a certain percentage that go, damn, all they do talk about is black people. These guys must be racist.
Ronnie is cute though.
I come unglued about it because
I'm serious. He's a good-looking guy.
Handsome. I don't have a racist bone, so I get heated about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that. Absolutely, I know that.
You too as well, a few other channels, and I have channel 2. I would never make statements to make any.
I absolutely know that. I do.
Oh, I know that.
Hey,
if anything, it's the exact opposite. You would make statements to paint us better than we probably deserve.
Get over here. You gotta look at this.
I want to get on
Hey, Katy Perry. What do you say there, Kitty?
Hey, he can't hear us, huh? Who's this? Salesman. He'll know.
Yeah, he absolutely will know. Oh, no,
I want to go on James's show. And I want to go on, I guess Kristen's got a show. Anyone who's got a show, I want to go on and talk to them about them.
Yeah. Pam kind of summed it up. He was supported by everybody, and then he started bitching. You know what? He also had people that stoked him up. And I'll take an unpopular opinion on this, but I don't care. He got platformed on a very large platform, and that platform used an opportunity to take a shot at another large platform by stoking the flames. And I happen to know the guy, and he's a dude that would have done that. It's right up his alley. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I mean, this is what he does. He makes a living off of people just like us, right? That's literally what he does. He makes a living off of convicts that are just coming out of prison. Hey, you want to sell your story? I said, no, I'm good. Did he ask you if you wanted to sell yours?
Yeah.
Did he cash today?
No, I think I'll check it out. Hey, so his buddy John Boziak, who actually lived with him, they had like a YouTube house down in Tampa. I found him. He's in Bangkok, Thailand, living now.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's. I'm not suggesting anyone go over and check this guy out at all. But he's. There's a reason you moved to Bangkok, brother, and we all know what that is.
I've been to Bangkok, and it is one of the worst places on planet Earth.
Yeah. But he's got an amazing condo there that he only pays like $1,300 a month for. But he likes them bar girls, and those bar girls are underage. I'm sorry.
Do you know what you can live in Bangkok for $1,300 a month? Yeah. Oh my God, bro! He's got a place like Diddy's for $1,300.
Yeah, his place has got glass floors that you can see down at the pool.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been over there, but
40s. No, I've never been there.
The American, like you can go out to dinner.
I'll go to Bombay before I go to, or Mumbai before I go to Bangkok.
I would much rather go to Mumbai. I never would have chosen to go there. I was paid to go over there. My boss at the time, he's a guy you can Google. It's a fascinating deep dive if you ever want to do it. His name was Rex Judd. It was a guy I worked for. He disappeared in Thailand. He's missing in action. They think he was murdered by a guy that I introduced him to, a Russian. But anyway, really interesting case. Unfortunately, I'm in it, so it's not what I cover because I don't really feel like having the. I got flown over to Thailand with the deal of I will pay you X amount of money. They had bought property in Thailand. And then that tsunami came, and the tsunami changed up a lot of the country, and it actually it made the land that they were in the process of buying worth so much more money. Like you ended up selling this land for 1/10 of what it was worth because the tsunami now made it so valuable. It like changed anyway. Now the guy doesn't want to sell. The dude decides he's out. He doesn't want to sell it.
Yeah.
So I got flown over there to say I'm gonna help this guy put his signature on that paper. It's the only reason I went, and he signed it. Oddly enough, I knocked on his door and said, "Hey, how you doing? You need to sign this, man. You had a deal." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I changed my mind on the deal." And I'll cop to this. Everybody's gone and done.
You said, no, you didn't.
Yes, that's exactly what I said. I said, "Hey, did you ever see?"
He's like, "Wow, that's a big nose."
The Godfather. I said, "Did you ever see the movie The Godfather?"
Yeah.
Because your signature or your brains are going on that paper. I'm like,
yeah.
Or in another country, and I don't even care. I said, "I promise you're going to sign that." I didn't come over here, for any other reason. But it's debauchery, it's disgusting, and it's ugly. I was on the street for about 30 seconds, and a guy came walking up and said, "I can get you the same watch you're wearing right now for $10 American." I said, "I don't think it's the same watch, brother."
No.
But if you can get me this for $10 American, I'll be right back. I'll go to an ATM machine, take out everything I got. But the collection of fake watches was just, as far as they had this outdoor bazaar where you could buy an Xbox, and this is when there wasn't like an Xbox 360 or anything. There was only an Xbox. It was brand new, and you could buy an Xbox for $6 American.
Oh wow!
Now it's a knockoff, right? It's not a real Microsoft Xbox, but it plays, it works. They also had these DVDs were still piping hot. There were still like shops and crap, but they were, you could get like 6, 7 for $1, and they're all not everything, Louis Vuitton, Rolex, just outdoor bizarre fake stuff.
In LA, it's called the alleys, and you can get all that stuff in the alleys in LA.
Yep.
Downtown and back streets behind all the other shops.
Terrible industry. That's never buy counterfeit stuff.
No,
it's really, really bad,
man. Blessed to Crochet, I would love to come on your show. It'd be an honor for me to join you, and so let's get that set up. That'd be super cool. So cool.
Did you see this? Have you two seen what's going on in the New York prison system? Drug overdoses, inmates, and correction officers. Some prisons are striking, and others are locking it down. It's a big mess. It is.
I was hoping to talk about that on Monday.
Yeah, nitazines is the name of the substance that you were trying to come up with, right?
Me?
No, Margie Barr.
Oh, speaking of substances, I'm getting 2 big hip injections today.
Boy, I wish I could watch.
Man, I woke up this morning like this. I walked all the way to the office like this. Hopefully tomorrow I'm skipping to the office.
He's right. If you do all of the people who are not alive that are attached to Diddy, you should use a giant whiteboard and red strings like a detective movie.
Yeah.
In the picture. I agree with you. By the way, I actually know someone who has done that. Hold on one second.
Oh, really?
I do know somebody that has put a board together and has everything kind of drawn out that way. I think that's cool as hell.
Yeah. We could do a Clinton one too. Well, that's been done.
Yeah, so for those who have never actually looked at this, there are things that you can Google. You can put in your age, right? Take me, for instance, 39-year-old white guy. How many people in your friend group at the age of 39, how many people should you know who have passed away? And there are places and it will generate that kind of a
wow,
right? So I did this with the Clintons, and for people this age, what's the average? And the average person will have known, 6 people, 7 people in their friend group. Now, this was a long time ago. They're a lot older now.
Yeah.
But the Clintons, they had a slightly higher number. Theirs was like 58 or something like that. It was so far over the top that you can find out pretty easily by doing very little amounts of research that stuff just doesn't really make sense. Paraglider. What a kind thing to say. Ours is done and is actually supposed to come out in March, so you should be able to buy it soon. At least the one from my brother and I.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have Chat GPT write mine, and so
that's the spirit.
Here's all the interviews and everything I've done. Now write my book.
Right?
Just kidding.
Well, don't think that there's not a whole lot of that going on. Casper, New York prison. What channel? Monday. This one.
Yes, and yes.
Yes, and yes.
Well, that's a yes.
Monday. Okay.
Thank you for asking, Margie.
Yeah, I think that it is pretty fascinating. It is a pretty fascinating case, everything that's going on currently with that. There has been really rough history with New York and the prison systems. Some of the most famous, incidences of all time. If you ever saw Dog Day Afternoon, right?
Yes, Al Pacino.
Do you know that in the federal system, if you yell the word Attica, they will charge you with inciting a riot?
Yes.
Yep. I've seen it happen twice. Because
really?
Guys think it's funny. Yeah.
Just joking. Yeah. Just joking.
So if there's guys in the chow hall and things start getting weird, someone will yell, Attica. You're gone. They will take you. They will write you up for inciting a riot and they will ship you off the yard. You cannot even crack that in a joke.
Yeah.
And I remember, and the funniest thing is I told someone this. We were having a conversation just like we're having it now. And he goes, that's BS. And I'm like, I'm telling you for a fact, this is not BS. So he did it. Right? We were playing bocce, throwing bocce balls when he did it. And he goes, watch, dude. And he starts chanting Attica. He got about 5 of them out. And he looks at me, he's like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, you're an idiot. And then they showed up, 2 of them, handcuffed him, took him off, never saw him again.
Yep.
I'm sure he's somewhere telling that story different.
Hey, at Terre Haute one. Yeah, right. Exactly right. At Terre Haute, I had taken a trash bag and cut it into a kite. Nice. And I rolled paper really tight to make the kite things.
Yep.
Not thinking anything of it, and went out to fly my kite. And man, I almost got locked up. They said that I could have been signaling a helicopter.
Frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But they take all, if you get caught, more than anybody because you're not a good person. I'm kidding. But you have been caught for bringing cell phones in. That is an escape tool.
It's an escape charge, yeah.
They consider that puppy an escape tool.
And if they would have found that SIM card, I wouldn't still be in, but I would have got more time.
Yeah, absolutely you would have. And it makes a lot of sense if you think about it, right?
Absolutely.
You really can't plan the great prison escape if you don't have a phone. You kind of got to tell your boys where they're going to pick you up, I watched a guy try to escape from FCI Tucson while I was there. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It was a Mexican dude, and he didn't have a great long planned out escape thing or whatever. He had been there one day. They brought him in, and he was outside on the yard, and you could see him like a kitten looking around to do something. He's doing this one, right? And doing one of these, I was like, and I said to the guy I was with, I was like, what is that dude doing, man? Is he on K2 or what? He looks like he's all tuned out. He took his coat off, started climbing, no hurry, started climbing the fence, threw the coat over the barbed wire and rolled over, fell to the ground, but the coat stayed up. Yeah. So when he went over the second one, he tried to do it with a T-shirt, shredded him. Yeah. He fell on the other side, but he got to the other side and started to run, no shirt on, leaking like hell, with nothing but about 1,000 miles of desert where he planned on going. But they fired the warning shot, and he kept running. And they fired the second one. To their credit, they didn't shoot him because they could have. They fired it in the dirt, and we were all already laying down because the alarms were off or whatever. But he got about 25, 30 feet, on the other side of the fence, and then crazy. Then they picked him up, put him in the shoe, and shipped him off. He's going to go straight to ADX. If you're looking for your own cell and the ability to buy sugar, just hop the fence.
Yeah. You know what? If on Monday, Tara, or Tara, however you pronounce it, we will do an update on the Menendez brothers. I have my pain management appointment. So I have to get going.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So
I'll finish it up.
What's that?
I said I'll finish it up. We'll just do another couple of minutes and then I'll sign off. Let me know when you're done with your appointment.
Okay, I will. I love you guys.
All right, Casper, love you. Have a great day.
All right, you too, sir.
Good. Rita Benjamin says, the world was praying for A$AP Rocky. He's a great human being with a beautiful soul. Thank you, God, for giving him victory. All right. I'm going to be honest. I don't know enough about A$AP Rocky to agree with you, but I also don't know enough about A$AP Rocky to disagree with you. I have heard from other people in this case that there's a lot of people out there that really do seem to think he's a great guy. I don't know enough about it, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that I always kind of root for the defendant. You know, people that take it all the way to the box, I'm usually rooting for the defendant, unless it's, you know, obvious. If it's something like Stephen Stearns, I won't be rooting for somebody that really injured people. But this kind of case, you know, I'm glad that he was able to walk. Debbie Blair says, hey, do either of you know anything about FCT Elkton? Well, what I can tell you is this. It has a great reputation for being a yard that is not particularly dangerous. Now, FCIs tend to be a lot less dangerous than USPs, right? USP stands for United States Penitentiary. That is where the most dangerous, theoretically, where the most dangerous of the inmates go. It is run on a point system. So a lot of it has to do with what your crimes are. You are initially assigned what they call yard points. And that's going to be based on not only what you're convicted of, but also your pre-sentence investigation. They're going to make a recommendation to what they think the custody level would be appropriate for you. More often than not, the guys that are at FCIs are not particularly violent. So in general, FCIs tend to be a softer place to do time. And Elkton has a great reputation for being one that is even more soft. And that's good. That's what, you know, that's what you're hoping for. Continued prayers and thoughts for my aunt with terminal cancer. She is in hospice. Lift up her daughter as well. People, thoughts and prayers. We can toss some ones out there, some healing vibes. Prayers. If you're like me and you pray, please do. And prayers for Mary as well. Right? She didn't mention that, but it's really hard on anybody that's that close to somebody that's going through that. So. Mary, you're in my thoughts and prayers as well. Really do appreciate you. So the rest of the day, folks, you're going to want to look for me over on the Atwood program. I am going to be doing a Hollywood update, bringing you up to speed on all the stuff that's been going on in Hollywood. There'll be some Diddy. There'll be some Blake Lively, to be sure. Probably touch on the A$AP Rocky verdict. And there's going to be a whole lot of talk about Voldemort. And I'll tell you something. For those who are disheartened because of Voldemort and how badly he got beat by Tony Busby, how bad he beat Tony Busby, yada, 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 I got news for you. Busby ain't done with Voldemort. You hear me? This thing ain't done by a long stretch. Little faith, folks, right? Tommy told you, don't give up. Voldemort is going to get his. You watch. It's not easy being right all the time, but I'm getting used to it. I'm kidding. I'm wrong all the time, but I'm not wrong on this one. You might want to pay attention. Right from the beginning, the world knew Efron Relly was lying. A$AP Relly was lying. He is broke, jealous, and he's envious about the A$AP Rocky's fame. I got that vibe in the short dive I did. I did get that vibe. This seems like a very, very jealous cat. That comes across pretty thick. A$AP Rocky, please stay away from the friends like Efron. You know what? Good advice to everybody. My mom and dad used to say, if you lay down with dogs, you're going to get up with fleas. We are judged by the content that we keep. This I promise you. Pam, no one is untouchable. No one. R. Kelly, right? We heard Jaguar Wright say this before anyone else did, but she said R. Kelly was a corporate-sponsored PDF file. The first. Where they knew what he was doing, but he was making so much money that they just kept it going with whatever they had to do, right? If they had to bring in legal teams, if they had to bend some rules, whatever they had to do, they were going to keep that thing going because he was a cash cow. Diddy looked to be the exact same thing. Maybe the second of the corporate sponsored, PDF files. But everybody, right? But everybody who is untouchable gets touched. Right? John Gotti was untouchable. Yeah, you're untouchable until you're not, and then it blows up. And I mean to tell you that Sean Carter's day is coming, the same way that that Sean Combs is coming. This I promise you. I'll see all of you over on the Atwood channel, and then I'll see you later on tonight on the Lifeboat. Folks, between now and the next time I see you, tell a bunch of people about our channel, would you? Have a great day. Bye-bye, everybody. Maybe not. Let's try that again. Goodbye, everybody.